Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Jorge Figueroa, and everybody calls me Dr. J. I'm an associate professor of teacher education in the bilingual and ESL education program at Texas Women's University. And I'm happy to be here with all of you once again. And in this initiative that we are proposing to all of you just to work with immersive technologies. And today we have a very cool webinar, which is titled "Augmented Reality for Emerging Bilinguals." So that's what our webinar is going to be today. I'm very happy to be here and very happy for being having the possibility to share this content and this knowledge, and also to also motivate you guys to become teachers with us at Texas Women's University. So let me start the webinar that we have for today by just letting you know that technology is one of the biggest scaffolds that exists, or the big scaffold that exists in teacher education, or right now in education per se. And we need to adapt ourselves also in the classroom setting to technology, to the use of technology. And one of these technologies, which are part of this group of immersive technologies that we're going to talk a little bit today, is called augmented reality. So to start with this presentation and this webinar that we have for today, first of all, one of the things that I want to share with all of you is that our pre-service teachers are going to be working with Generation 3 or the I generation. So these are most of our pre-service teachers. These pre-service teachers are digital natives. So if you're a member of Generation 3, you are a digital native by birth. When we think about digital native by birth, what we're thinking is that you were born between 1996 and 2010. Digital native was a term brought us to the attention by Mark Prensky back in 2010, and he also continues to do research on this aspect. And it's very interesting because most of our pre-service teachers are members of this generation. So yeah, or either they're like close to the millennial gap, or they're just part of this generation. And this is the most diverse and most multicultural generation. One of the nicest things about this is that this generation embraces diversity. The vision that this generation brings to the table is that it has a global vision. So we're going to have a generation that, due to the fact to all these technologies, is well connected and is able to have a global vision of different subjects, of different things. Also, they like to work with multiple cultures and multiple languages. So multilingualism is one skill that this generation is looking for to have and acquire as well. One of the things about this generation is that they're tech reliant. So yeah, they're techies and they like to use technology. In addition, they're gamers, and you're gonna see. So this is something that we can use to leverage the teaching and learning process as well. But it's completely different to other generations that we've had. Like this generation, they like to play video games, and they're very well connected. And how they play video games is completely different to how their predecessors used to play video games, specifically because they're connected to the internet. They like to play, connected to the internet. In addition, smartphones are a must for them. So the most important tool for this generation is to have a smartphone, which is very interesting, because if you measure this with other generations, there was no real smartphone before. So if you want to, if you want to mess around with a person from this generation, just take away his or her a smartphone. Also, it's very important that we understand that our uh, members of this generation are going to learn by observation and practice. Okay, so that means that frequent observation and practice, they like learn by doing. So there are people, there's students, or these students that are pre-service teachers right now. What they want to do is that they want to work, basically, and also they want tasks with a purpose. Okay, they also like collaborative learning and innovative instructional technologies with a purpose, like I said before. So the Web 2.0, that's okay. Probably Web 3D is okay, but give me more, because this generation was born with these technologies, and basically what they're saying is that, hey, you know what? I need more. Like, give me a purpose on why I want to use this technology. For example, like, with millennials and also members of Generation X, you had the opportunity to integrate blogs, wikis, and podcasts, as most of them will be digital immigrants. And in classes, people will be, wow, we're doing this. But this generation, Generation C, iGen, they were born with these technologies, so they're used to these technologies. They're part of their life, so they know what podcasting is. They know what social media is. So they're 100% digital native. They know, they learn, they know specifics about these technologies. So innovation is part of what they are pursuing. You know, and it's very important that we see that this generation not only is going to be teaching their own generation, but also a generation that is coming on, which we're going to discuss this a little bit later, are the Generation Alpha. So in addition, this generation, Generation Z, or iGen, are social change oriented, and they want to engage in discussions related to inclusiveness and tolerance. And this is very interesting due to the fact that sometimes educators are afraid to engage students in difficult conversations. Well, basically, this generation is telling the teachers, hey, you know what? Teach me. Let's talk about inclusion. Let's work with tolerance. Let's see diversity as a whole. Let's understand the concept of diversity, which is very interesting as well. So as we continue our webinar here, one of the things is that it's very important that we realize that this generation never experienced of have never had any contact or the necessity to work with any of these instruments. Like, for example, you have a computer over there that definitely is a very old computer, but also you have a dial-up modem. So this generation, what they were born already when, like, the fast LAN, local area networks, all this fast internet was there, so it was running already. They don't know how to what they don't know how to wait. Specifically what waiting is all about, specifically when we think about the opportunity to wait for, like, what we used to do back in the 1990s or early 2000s, waiting for a document to download, specifically from the web. They don't know how that works, because for them that never existed. The same thing with the storage. You remember the floppy drive or stuff like that. So they basically know that they can store something on the web specifically, or in the cloud, or in a jump drive. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. So like I said before, pre-service teachers that are getting trained right now are getting ready to serve Generation Alpha. And this generation is going to be the most tech savvy generation known. And they're also known as the Google Kids. So it's very important that we realize this at the moment that we are training our students, and specifically when we move this to emerging bilinguals, okay? Because they're going to be members of this generation as well. All right. So one of the things that we need to realize is the positive evolution and impact of information communication technologies in education. And when we think about this, definitely we need to think about the Web 2.0 tools, and how Web 2.0 gave us the opportunity to do plenty of things in the classroom. Suddenly, the teacher had a lot of control on how to work with technology and how and basically he became a certain type of creator of content. Also, after that, we need to realize the positive impact that gamification and game-based learning gave to the teaching profession as well, and the opportunities that game-based learning have given our students in order for them to learn. And last but not least, the phone and mobile devices, but specifically the strength that the smartphone has brought to education is unparalleled. It has given plenty of opportunities to the teaching and learning process, and also given plenty of opportunities for teachers to integrate and interact in many different things. What brings me then to the important part of this presentation. So one of the things is that when we're working with emerging bilinguals, we need to realize that they have a variety of feedback and experiences, and but at the same time they are members of this generation that I explained a minute ago. Okay, so now when we're preparing our pre-service teachers to work with this generation, it's very important that they understand the new generations that they're going to be working with, and that could facilitate the language learning process of emerging bilinguals. Okay, and boom, immersive technologies. That's what we're talking about. So basically, immersive technologies, I'm sorry, are new forms of experience that employ sounds and images to create engrossing simulated learning environments and allow the real world to merge with the digital world. So in here, we're going to have a certain type of technology that is going to be simulated use simulation for learning environments, and is able to merge the real world and the digital world. There are certain types of immersive technologies that are constantly being used right now in the classroom. The first one, augmented reality. Second one, virtual reality. The third one, mixed reality. The fourth one, artificial intelligence. And the fifth one, blockchain. So today we are basically talking about augmented reality. And what is augmented reality? So augmented reality is the ability to layer data and images over materials and actual spaces. So as you see here, you're going to see a physical trigger. By this means this is a paper, and you see how a 3D object comes into life. Okay, so when we're thinking about working with augmented reality, we also need to think about working with devices such as a smartphone or a tablet. Okay, so it's very important that we realize that in order for us to see the possibilities that augmented reality brings. So we're going to have artificial information that can be overlaid on the real world. So that is why when you see this, for example, you see like a piece of paper, and all these piece of papers are giving you what images. All of them are triggers, and they give you 3D images, video, content, just like this. You can bring to the classroom Abraham Lincoln, stuff like that. Why? Because there are going to be several aspects where you can implement all of this into the classroom, and specifically with emerging bilinguals. Okay, so it's very important for us to see this happening. When we follow this into education, definitely one of the advantages that we're seeing in education with augmented reality is that it allows the material to be seen differently, helping children to learn in a different way. So we're going to have students that now are going to be engaged, like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. So one of the main things here is that the opportunity that our emerging bilinguals will have with this type of gadget, with this type of technology, with augmented reality, it will be unprecedented, and they will be able to do several things that I'm going to explain to you later on in this webinar. So then we have the basic use of AR requires a few things, like I said before. So one of those few things is the smartphone, like I showed to you, okay, and also, yeah, a tablet. Okay, so when we think about this, also an internet connection is needed for real-time overlaying of information. So, it's not only having a smartphone or the tablet, you need to have internet connection in order for all those 3D images to come to life, and you're able to see it. So the triggers can be something as simple as QR code. Yeah, you see plenty of QR codes nowadays, and you can use as QR codes. And basically, they're going to launch an AR event on the smartphone or tablet, or it can be a special printout or photographic images that is viewed through a specialized app. You decide what you want to do specifically with this, okay? And it gives you plenty of opportunities, okay? So, so when we think about augmented reality in bilingual and ESL education, we think a lot about the benefits. And now I'm going to be talking a little bit about the specifics, like, for example, it lowers the affective filter. So the atmosphere is going to be a relaxed learning environment. And as it has been proven that students with that their affective filter goes down, definitely the language learning process is easier for them and it's beneficial. Also, vocabulary support, with augmented reality in the classroom, specifically for our emerging bilinguals, we will have the opportunity to bring vocabulary in a different way. That technical vocabulary that is so catchy, you can bring it into the classroom. Also, you can work with culturally relevant, responsive, and sustaining teaching, which is very important because our students, they need to understand cultures, they need to work with cultures, they need to understand concepts of social justice, okay, in order to have a better society. And this is something that you can also bring into the classroom by using augmented reality in working with emerging bilinguals. Translanguaging, definitely. You can work with translanguaging and augmented reality. It gives you the opportunity to work with project-based and collaborative learning. So, imagine yourself creating opportunities for your students as well, in the classroom. At the same time, you can align it with state standards. In our case here in Texas, we work with the TICS and also with the ELPS. And it's the biggest scaffold, like I will say, it's a great scaffold for emerging bilinguals and for the ESL and bilingual education classroom. Another thing that I want to show real quick in here was when I started. You see here, so you see escorpion. So basically, that's a certain type of way where you can bring the vocabulary. Of course, this is culture relevant, specifically because in many parts of the word escorpion means something. If you go into if you go to Central America, the word scorpion is not highly used. It's mostly used alacran, but then you go to, let's say, my native Puerto Rico, and the word alacran means another thing. It's another type of pest, of scorpion. So you can bring so many opportunities to your emerging bilinguals and have a real great atmosphere and a great teaching and learning experience with augmented reality in your classroom setting. So when we're training, definitely, there are many ways of producing content and working with content. So as you see here, like we were expressing, augmented reality will need always a trigger, and that trigger could come in a ways just like the merge cube, which is something that we use with our students also in Texas University, for them to learn how to work with this aspect toward the classroom setting. And one of the nicest things is that you can show different content into the classroom, in different ways. And our emerging bilinguals will benefit from it. It can go from simple to complex at the same time. So you have plenty of opportunities to integrate this with your emerging bilinguals. And if you are a teacher, a bilingual educator, or an ESL teacher, definitely it gives you so much potential, so many opportunities for the classroom setting. And it's something that you should use. As you see here, some of our students using and training on how to use this for the classroom, specifically for our bilingual and ESL classrooms. And once again, how you bring all these visuals will be so important in the teaching and learning process, and it's something that we as educators we need to bring, because once again we are training students that are from generation C, most of them. So they're looking for this type of technologies, and they're looking for a purpose behind it. Like, so I'm going to train these students to use these technologies with students from the same generation that they are, or from the next generation. So they have to be computer savvy. They need to be, I'm sorry, tech savvy in regards on how to identify all these tools. It's very important that as educators, we find ways to look for content. And one of the things that definitely I tell my students and that I want to share with you has to do with something that the ICT evangelist, or Stephen Banbury and did a couple of years ago, when he started the periodic table of iOS for AR and VR. And this is something, and this is something that you can find in this website, and it's something that is really awesome. I get to when I saw it for the first time, all this curated content is easier. And one of the things that it gave me, and it brought my attention, was how Banbury worked specifically with aligning the apps that he found, with federal content. So he did this specifically for iOS, but a lot of these applications also work with Android. So it's not only for iOS, but most of them are for iOS. But also you will find plenty of uses for Android. The same thing with later, he did this with Mark Anderson, and this stuff was curated by Steve Banbury. So definitely great resources and free resources. I just posted over there the website where you can find all these resources as well. Later they did another periodic table. Once again, see the alignment in this area, how they align specifically the content, the subjects. I'm sorry. So it's so important for us to find this on the web, but it is there. So you can create plenty of opportunities and for your students, and adjust what you want to do, in regards to this matter. So it's very important for us to see this as well. Another factor definitely is, how are we using apps? So I'm going to recommend a couple of apps that we've been working with our bilingual ed and ESL program with our pre-service teachers. And definitely, we have used Quiver, which is a free app, Quiver EDU, which is a pay app, Blip AR, iJack, Adobe Aero, Live AR. Live AR is a paid app, but it's a very good app as well. Animals 4D, which is a paid app, and you saw how it worked when we were doing the videos, some of the videos. Jigspace, which is unfortunately, it's only for iOS, but it's so powerful. Metaverse, where you can create quizzes that are augmented reality based. StoryFab, and you also have Photoland. So you have plenty of things. We're using all this in our teacher education program, specifically in our bilingual and ESL education program, and we're training our teachers with this technology. All right, so just to give you examples, like so here, this is some of the things that you can do for your emerging bilinguals. Okay, so basically when you do this, you can create content. Here's one of our students, Carlos Gaitan, and he was preparing himself on how to work with this type of augmented reality for his bilingual classroom. And as you see here, like when we started, we need a physical trigger, and here you see this wall becomes a physical trigger, so we can bring this into live. The same thing with this with this heart here, all right, with this heart over here. And both of these videos, we were able to work with them, and they're part of Geekspace. And Geekspace give you so much good content. And another thing that you can do, with Geekspace is that if you're really interested in working with Geekspace and you like to create stuff, you can go to Geek Workshop, okay, and then create content, and then create content for you, for your students, and for parents. It's really a great opportunity. It's really a great opportunity for teachers, future teachers, parents, to get content using augmented reality, and that's something that definitely you should be thinking about. Okay, so there are plenty of opportunities, plenty of possibilities for our emerging bilinguals. And the future is yours. So basically, start thinking about how to use all these opportunities into the classroom setting. Once again, I want to share this website, the ICTEvangelist.com free resources website. Definitely good content over there. You can find plenty of content over there as well. And you're gonna like it very much. Also, I want to share this website, the Merge Edu Cube. The cube where very important. You can have it. It's not that expensive. As part of your teacher, I would say as part of your teacher backpack, you should have it. Once again, Geekspace over here. Go on, check it out, and see it. Let me share my screen a little bit so I can show you basically what I've been thinking in regards. Here's the page for the free resources for the ICT evangelist. Let me just go a little bit bigger here. So you're gonna find plenty of resources in here, and definitely once again, these guys are so good, in curating content and providing you with good skills and everything. So definitely, this is something that I encourage all pre-service and future teachers and current teachers to work with. At the same time, if you have the opportunity, like I mentioned before, you can definitely go to Merge, and here is the cube, and you're gonna see everything in 3D form. Pretty cool, very interesting way to integrate to your class. Great content for ESL and bilingual students. Once again, the future is now, and we need to use all these opportunities that we have to engage students. And like I said, last but not least, definitely, if you have the opportunity, go on to Geekspace. If you are using iOS, which is the one that Geekspace works with, go for it, check it out. You're gonna like it, and start trying. Start working around with all of this, okay, and start playing and seeing the possibilities of all these devices, of all these apps as well. All right, so definitely, that's something that we need to continue working with, and that we need to use um, in the classroom. So if you're interested in working with all of this and learning more about this, definitely I want you to become a teacher with us at TWU. So make sure that right now we're always using these technologies into the classroom setting to train our pre-service teacher, and also current teachers that are interested in using them in the classroom. So plenty of opportunities with us, plenty of opportunities. If you have any questions, definitely, hey, feel free to contact me through my email, jfigueroa2@tw.edu. All right, and of course, follow me on Twitter. Yeah, J Figueroa Flores, and also follow me on Instagram, J Figueroa Flores 1. I hope that you like what you saw today, and I hope that you start using it and that you enjoy it, because definitely technology is something that is very powerful. Okay, and that definitely can engage students. And remember, like I always said, first pedagogy and then technology. Okay? Thank you. This is Dr. J. Figueroa. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.